Hey everyone, it's Mr. Canfield. So today we're going to be doing the 4-5 lesson assignment. There is one big idea to get today. There's one new thing. That's it. And we're doing 10 questions. Here's the thing. If you struggle graphing lines that look like y is less than 5x minus 5, the start of this lesson is not for you because you need to learn the basics first. If you need to learn the basics after I go through this stuff, what I'll do is I'll make my face really big again so you can kind of scroll and try to find it in the video. I'll make it big for about 30 seconds, and that'll be at the end of the video. So, but for everyone else who already is 100% on how you would graph like something like y is less than 5x minus 5, then let's start here. Okay, so let's say we have a system of inequalities. We have two inequalities, and we have to do something about it. So all you gotta do is you graph one, you graph the other. You know how like there's shading with these things? Shading. What we are looking for is, a system is all about trying to find out when two things are true at the same time. So we're just trying to find out, hey, when am I shading both of these at the same time? And that's a little challenging to do on our software. So I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then here we go. So boom. All right, let's see. My first line says y is less than 5x minus 5. So, you know, I just graph my line like I normally would. So let's see, 5x minus 5, I'll go to minus 5, start there, and then 5, ooh, there's no, all right, it's over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1. So I got my line, and then I've got to figure out the shading and stuff like that. So we'll come back to shading for this in just a minute. The key thing that I want to talk about now is dotted or solid. Let's see, go and look. By the way, if you don't have this memorized, I hope you have it written down, because it's open notes on our quizzes and stuff. You gotta know what this symbol does. Let's think about this. Is it allowed to equal the line? Well, no. There's no line underneath. It's not allowed to equal the line. Boom. So it's a dotted line. They call it a dashed line, but yeah, okay. So, and then we're gonna shade this in just a minute, but since you can really only shade one area on this, we'll talk. Okay, so let's see, y is less than or equal to x plus 3. Okay, so I'll go to plus 3, put a dot. There's no number there, it means it's a 1, right? So I'll go up 1 over 1, boom, and then this one is a solid line, so cool. So I got my system here, and let's talk about how shading works, because you may want to like actually go in with your hands and do this, like put your hand up on the screen and be like, okay, so let's see. This first line, it's not eating the y, so we're shading underneath, and that was my dotted line here. So my first line, I am shading here. All this I'd be shading. My second line, it says I'm also shading underneath. So I need to ignore all of this coloring that I just did, and just focus on my second line. Oh, this one's also underneath. So that would be all of this. And so now here's the question. Where is the shading overlapping? And if you look carefully, I guess I'm using the biggest possible right now. If you look carefully, you will see that along this boundary line, and along that boundary line, all of this we shaded for both of them. And one way you can kind of think about it is there's these four areas that these two lines divide the graph up into, and this was the area that both of them were shaded in. So it can be a little bit tricky to figure that out. So I'm going to do one more, but that's it today. That's all. If you get this, and You want to practice these. There's a whole lot of moving pieces. So there's 10 questions, but let's see, how many of these are actual graphing? Yeah, so the last like 4 are like identifying it from a picture. But it's worth your time to like this is all we're doing today. So it's okay to take your time and make sure you're getting them right. And please find me, let me know if I can help. Like this isn't supposed to be like go figure it out on your own. This is supposed to be practice it, and I'm here to help. Okay, so y is less than or equal to negative 3x minus 3. So I'm doing this one. Negative 3x minus 3. So let's see, I start at negative 3. Oh, and it's negative, so I go 1, and the slope is negative. So 1, 2, 3 over 1. Solid line. And I know I'm shading underneath this one because of the way the mouth is going. Cool. Let's reverse it now. Y is greater than or equal to x plus 4. Sorry, I said reverse it because this one's flipped the other way. We're graphing the second one now. So let's see. We'll go up to 4. Slope is 1. Also a solid line. So I'm supposed to go underneath the first line I did, above the second line I did. And what I could do is think about these 4 regions and go, okay, which one of these am I underneath this one and over the other one? Because it's either going to be here, 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 or here. So, and seriously, if doing what we did a minute ago where we actually like drew it out, if that's helpful, then like there's nothing wrong. Like before Savas, before Savas, and before Save Us, all I would do, like my students didn't do this on the computer. We did it all by hand. So if this is something, if it's beneficial to you, to like do it by hand. All right. Oh, additionally, let me just do the next one. Really, I'm not going to teach this. I'm just going to. So let's say we got this one. I want to, oh, that's kind of weird. We start at 5 and slope is anyway. There is a lot that you can mess up with these, and they don't really help you. So I'm pretty close to right. If this was a quiz question and it was a 10-point question, I'd get 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 points. Do you see it? Do you see the problem? I don't have it dotted. Or sorry, I have it dotted. It's supposed to be solid. A little thing like that is going to mark it wrong. So, you know, there's basically the 3 things that you want to focus on for each line, right? You want to focus on the line and getting the line correct. That's your first step. Then is it dashed or is it solid? Whoa, dear. That's what happens when you're writing and you go off of the window. It like keeps holding the mouse down. So is it dashed or is it solid? So this was 1, this was 2, and then 3, you want to figure out how you throw shade. And then the final step, after you've done that for both lines, the final step is find overlap. So you do that, these should go pretty well for you, but if you're not careful in checking the line, the dotted solid, and the shading, you're going to be getting frustrated because you're going to be getting stuff wrong because you're accidentally skipping part of your like stuff that you're checking for. So that's my recommendation. I hope this video has been helpful, and I'm going to go and do an in-depth tutorial on graphing lines again for people who need it. So I'm going to expand my face. So if you're here to learn how to graph lines, and then go back and go through this tutorial, that's awesome. I will, let's see, I'll talk about graphing this line here. So let's say we've got this coordinate plane here. All right. Let's say we've got this coordinate plane here, and I'm trying to graph y is equal to 3x minus 4. So if I'm trying to graph this, remember there's two, I'm saying remember, but if you're learning this for the first time today, A, that's a problem. We've been doing this for a while. But B, I'm here to help. So I never want to say, why haven't you learned this yet? That's a problem, and just leave you. That's why I'm going through this right now. So also, if you are using this part of the video, if you could maybe send me an email and say, hey, that really helped me at the end, or like, because if no one's using it, I don't want to waste my time. But if anybody's using it, I'm not wasting my time. I'm hopefully not wasting your time. I'm hopefully helping you. I'll shut up. Here we go. Okay. So we always start with the number that is not the number touching x. This number is called our Y-intercept. And the reason it's called our Y-intercept is because that's where the graph touches the y-axis. Intercept is like catching, right? So I go to the y-axis, I go to 4, but it says minus. So that's why I highlighted the sign in front. So it's either going to be +4 or -4, a +4 or a -4. You know, whatever number it is, it's either going to be a positive or a negative. Positives go up here, negatives go down here. There's our first step. Our next step is to deal with the number touching x, and that's called our slope. And the phrase that people use for slope is they'll say slope follows this idea of rise over run. So slope is always a fraction, even when it's not written as a fraction, because every number that's just a plain number, we call these integers, every integer is secretly over 1. This is always true. Pick any whole number, any integer you want, divide it by 1. What do you get? What's 3 divided by 1? It's still 3. So that's why we can put that over 1. So I see 3, I see 1. And we use this phrase rise over run because the top number is what tells us how far from this point we're going to go up to find our next point. And the bottom number is our run that tells us how far we're going to go to the right to get to our next point. So basically I'm trying to find the next point to plop down so I can then connect dots. So I start here and it says rise 3. So I'm literally going to start here, 0, 1, 2, 3. I went 3 up. I'm not putting the dot yet, but I went up. I went up. And then now I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to go up 2, 3. And then over 1, and that's where my next dot is. And you can actually continue this. You can go up 2, 3, over 1 again, up 2, 3, over 1 again. You can continue doing this literally forever. And you can even like go back in time and go, okay, well, where would I have been before this? Well, I went up 3 and over 1. So what if I go reverse 1, down 3? You'll see that 2 is on the same line here. So that's graphing lines in a nutshell. Negative slopes. Key thing about negative slopes. Negative slopes, let's say this had been a negative 3x. A negative slope, we'd start at the same number, but instead of going up 3 and over 1, we would go down 3 and over 1. And I'm still going to the right, down 3 and over 1. So if that had been a negative, down 3 and over 1. And so reversing it, we could go backwards 3 and up 3 to go to reverse it. And that would be our negative slope version of the line. And positive slopes, you know, if you're looking at this like over time, positive slopes are always going up as we're going that way. Negative slopes are always going down as we go that way. So I hope that was helpful. If you need a review of what these different symbols do, I've got a great video from last class. It talks about how these symbols work and how shading and how dotting works. And I have all of them written on the screen. You just copy that down. It always works. But that's up to you. You got to do that. So, all right. Hope this is helpful. And again, if you did use this little thing at the end, please let me know, because again, if it's helping anybody, I'm going to keep doing this part. If it's not helping anybody, I'm not going to keep doing it. Like, I'm not just doing this because like I want to have fun and put more YouTube content out. That's not. I'm not monetized, and I don't plan on being monetized. That's not what this is about. All right. So, cool. Bye.